Hey, sports fans, we're back at it today, and we're bringing you 10 things you didn't know about the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. A chip on his shoulder since college, Brady has managed to have a storybook career with his face etched on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks after sliding all the way to the 199th pick in the 2000 NFL Draft, leaving the many coaches and personnel who passed on him punching the air. As the holder of 7 Super Bowl rings at the time that this video was made, Tom is hands down the most decorated quarterback in NFL history. I mean, the dude can't even fit all of his rings on one hand. But these are things you already know about one of, if not the greatest to ever do. Number 10, Tom Brady doesn't lift traditional weights. You've seen the combine photo. If you said Brady looked like the greatest with his shirt off, we'd have to call you a liar. Although Tom did lift weights in college, as a pro, he decided on working on his flexibility and pliability. Instead of dumbbells and weight bars, Tom uses resistance bands. He uses a variety of them to get a full body workout, and his trainer claims that it gives Tom softer and longer muscles, which are better for peak performance. Softer muscles in football? Okay, I guess so. I guess it really is, each to their own. And whatever Tom is doing, well, it's working. So we're not going to question a thing. Number 9, sometimes to express jubilation. Brady is quoted as saying, "There's nothing that quite expresses the way I feel about the word." We believe you, Tom. Need proof? During the post-game interview during the Patriots' 2019 AFC Championship win over the Kansas City Chiefs, Tom dropped an F-bomb on live television. Brady was again caught dropping his game after giving up the game-clinching first down. Brady claims he doesn't say it at home and that it's pretty filtered at his house. He also says to blame CBS and NBC for putting it on live TV and not to blame him. We don't blame you, Tom, and we can't blame the NFL for not miking you up anytime soon. Number 8, Tom Brady was the 7th string quarterback when he arrived at Michigan. 7th? When Tom Brady arrived in Ann Arbor, saying that he was buried in the depth chart was about as big of an understatement as they come. Now, Tom being Tom, he managed to work his way up to backup quarterback, which he served for 2 years before beating out Drew Henson during his junior year. Number 7, Brady did not know that he would make it to the NFL, so he made a resume just in case. People, never give up. Just never give up. After 2 successful years as Michigan's quarterback, he decided that he'd make a resume in case his hopes of playing in the NFL didn't pan out. When Tom finished his career as a Wolverine, the scouting report on him was far from favorable. That might be putting it delicately. There were only a handful of people who saw him as an NFL caliber quarterback, and most saw him as a career backup if he even were able to make a roster. Can't blame Tom for getting ahead of the game and creating a resume and see where fortune led him instead of letting the scouts and naysayers deter him. Number 6, Tom had to fight for playing time on a junior varsity football team that didn't score a touchdown all year long. Not sure how that is statistically possible, but it happens to be a fact. The perplexing story of Tom being the underdog with a chip on his shoulder started as a youth. He climbed the depth chart as he did in college and made his way to varsity after 3 years. Moral of the story, don't doubt Tom. Not as a teenager, not as a young man, not as a grown man, even with graying hair. At 43, it's time to accept that Father Time may be Tom's next challenge. And if history serves, Tom may beat him and never retire. Just kidding. Well, I mean, sort of. Number 5. Mr. Super Bowl himself is on a super duper strict diet. The fact that Tom is on a diet, it shouldn't shock you. As you know, this dude is ageless. But what may shock you is just how strict of a diet Tom is on. 80% of what Tom eats are veggies. And not just any veggies. They have to be organic. And not just organic, they also can't be any nightshades. For us non-diet gurus, vegetables that aren't anti-inflammatory is what that means. He's able to eat tomatoes once a month, just maybe, according to his nutritionist, but never any kind of peppers, mushrooms, or eggplants. Also making the Tom Brady restriction list are coffee, caffeine, or dairy. For a treat, Tom eats avocado ice cream. As they say, our bodies are temples, and Tom treats his better than most. And that's a testament to why at 43 years young, Tom is still performing at an extremely high level. Number 4, Tom is out of this world. competitive. He was competing with security guards on who could throw items and have them land closest to the wall, and be genuinely upset if he lost. According to Tom's teammates, there are truckfuls of broken ping pong paddles, and he's been known to throw a backgammon board or 3 across the room. Tom also once gave his team a pep talk before a charity game against some local firefighters. Never lose that fire, Tom. It's what makes you great. Ping pong paddles and backgammon boards be damned. Number 3, Tom Brady makes the second most money in his family. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Tom Brady, the 7-time Super Bowl champ, takes a backseat to supermodel wife Giselle when it comes to the bankroll, but don't cry for Tom. He's doing pretty well himself. The QB has endorsements with Tag Heuer, Sam Adams, Under Armour, UGG, Foot Locker, Molecular Mattresses, and last but certainly not least, Aston Martin. Tom Brady's actual net worth is estimated to be just north of $200 million. The thing is, Giselle's, hers is said to be north of $400 million, and according to Forbes, it's soaring toward $1 billion. Hearing all this just makes Tom even that much cooler for refusing to retire, if you ask me. Now, Tom has also reportedly sacrificed $60 million during his career to make sure that the Patriots had a championship roster, so he's definitely not just playing for money. We told you, he's super competitive. Not to mention, if he retired today, his wife isn't just bringing home the bacon, she could buy bacon factories. Number 2, Tom has as many NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. Let that linger for a moment. I said NFC championships. If there was ever a stat that speaks more to his goatness, we would love to hear it. Go ahead. Tom Brady has spent all of 1 season in the NFC, and he's already hoisted that NFC trophy as many times as 2 surefire first ballot Hall of Famers. Tom has already been an AFC championship an eye-popping 9 times, and after switching to the NFC, he has wasted no time in taking the Bucs to the Super Bowl. To make this fact sound even more absurd, there is only one active NFC quarterback with more NFC championships, and that's Russell Wilson, who is beating Tom by 1. Number 1 on the list of 10 things you might not know about Tom Brady, well, he fell asleep in the locker room before his first Super Bowl. There are some who get nervous, and there are some that have Arctic ice flowing through their veins. Tom, well, he's clearly the latter, as you've seen from the many game-winning drives during his playing career, no matter how big the stage has been. This rang true during Tom's first Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36. Tom was sitting at the front of his locker and he knew he had time to kill, so he decided to take off his shoulder pads and lay down. Tom said he wasn't intending to sleep, but before he knew it, he dozed off for 20 or 30 minutes. When he woke up, the game was drawing nearer, so he put on his shoulder pads and just started to get ready. The young Tom said he didn't realize the importance of the game. And it wasn't like he was overly relaxed, he just felt that he was prepared. As we all know, he went on to win that. Fans, that does it for our time on the timeless one, Tom Brady, and the 10 things you didn't know about him. What did you think about our list? Anything we missed? Let us know by dropping us a line down in the comments, and of course, if you haven't already done so, click that subscribe button to stay up to date on some of the best sports content on the web. Until next time, sports fans.